Hello, everyone. This is Yvonne. So, I created the financial roadmap to help you start and grow a side hustle. So, we went over the financial roadmap in general, including each of the 10 steps. So, today we are going to focus on step number two, which is generating ideas. So we have two exercises to do today related to that. Now, before we get started, I do encourage you to grab a piece of paper and a pen, or you can always use an app like Google Sheets or even Google Docs in order to record your answers, okay? So, as much as I try to keep my videos between 8 to 10 minutes, this exercise or these exercises will probably take a little longer, but no worries. Just work through them as much as possible with me, and you can always go back later to finish up anything, okay? So put the video on hold if you need to go grab your items, and then we're going to get started. So, when I created the financial roadmap, I really tried to think about the ideal framework that is needed in order to start and grow a side hustle. Now, it's a little different than if you were to start a regular business venture. However, going through the journey of the financial roadmap will lead to you being able to scale up into a full-fledged business venture. Okay. So, part of the process that I felt was important was generating ideas that you can use to start a side hustle. Now, I know some experts, marketing experts, and I'm not a marketing expert, but I know some will say that when you start a side hustle or pretty much any income stream, you need to do some type of market research and perhaps choose something that has a good market share. So you're going to choose a product or service that's pretty profitable within the market already. Then perhaps you can start selling that or even put your spin on that. Now, that is a possibility, but I do encourage you to read the book Blue Ocean, where it encourages you to sort of have a more trailblazing mindset. And when you're deciding on your product or service, go for something that doesn't have as much market competition, and jump in there and build it out. And yes, your competitors will come, but the idea of a blue ocean is you sort of have that market share on your own, as compared to a red ocean is when you have all this competition and shark attacks and people going after you to claim your market share. So, with that being said, I like the idea of the blue ocean. And when I created exercises related to generating ideas, I kept that in mind. Plus, it is my position that, and I'm a little woo woo, and you'll find out with these exercises, but that's okay. I am who I am. So, I also take the position, which is my primary position, is we our lives represents the way that we are meant to express in this world, and it's unique, it's authentic, and so whatever you do should be based on your ability to be authentic, to be unique, to let your light shine. So if you really lean into what that means, then a lot of the products and services that you come up with will be unique and you will be able to have that blue ocean experience because other people may have similar ideas, but if you execute it properly, then that will set you apart. And then, of course, those you may have people that come in and later and try to compete. But if you are truly creating products and services based on your authenticity, you'll always be a step or two ahead. Okay. So, with that being said, as part of the generating ideas step, I came up with the 6 P's, or the 6 elements that you can use in order to brainstorm ideas. So that is the first exercise that we're going to do. We are going to brainstorm ideas based on the 6 P's. I'm going to explain the 6 P's briefly, and then I'm going to use myself as the example, and I'm going to fill out each box of the 6 P's based on my own personal experiences. Okay, so what we have here are the 6 P's that I feel give you monetizable life experiences. So if you were to experience pain, and pain comes in many forms, including physical pain, financial pain, social pain, emotional pain. And an argument can be made that there are many more, but we're going to focus on the 4 here. So think back to life experiences where you would have experienced one of these types of pains, and maybe more. Also, you have passion. A passion usually comes in the form of you having natural talents or gifts, and you may choose to do those as hobbies. Okay, but again, we're focused on looking for passions that can, or that are monetizable. Also, pedigree. Pedigree is based on your lineage, your family history. And if you recall, our first movie discussion was about a lady named Angela Logan. She was in jeopardy of losing her home. So she decided to make an apple mortgage cake based on a recipe that was passed down through generations along with the home. And so she leaned in on her pedigree to come up with a product or a service. Okay. Also, pet peeves. Look to your pet peeves for ways, or for ways to come up with products or services that are monetizable. We all have pet peeves, okay? And you're going to learn some of my pet peeves today. Also, your profession. If you're looking to come up with products or services to start or grow a side hustle, look to your profession. And so not only do I count your profession that you do every day, but also look to areas that you have an interest in learning. So if you don't do it currently, you can investigate it and figure out how you can get what you need in terms of any certifications or licenses to be able to monetize it. Okay, and then finally, purpose. Your purpose is overall what you are meant to do on this earth. What is it that you're supposed to accomplish? Now, oftentimes you may not know early on what your purpose is, but when you experience things such as pain, or you look to your family's lineage, or you look at your pet peeves, a lot of times those are indicators or catalysts of what becomes known as your purpose. Okay. With that being said, let's go ahead and do this brainstorming exercise. So, what I'm going to do is, for in each of the boxes, I am going to write down my experiences that can be monetized based on that particular element. Okay. And so I'm not going to include everything, but I will just include two or three in each box so we can have something to work with. So, with that being said, when I think about my life and I think about pain, I definitely have experienced financial pain where, I struggle financially. And also, I've experienced social pain where growing up I was bullied by peers. I mean, I'm laughing now, but it wasn't funny at the time. And a lot of times when you experience bullying by your peers, that's not a good thing, but it is an indication that you are typically the type of person who is has a more unique approach to life. You're not like other people. You think differently, you do differently. A lot of times you are creative, you're a trailblazer. So if you do have children in your family that are experiencing bullying, you might want to take that angle with them. And it's not to discredit others, but it's just to make them aware you don't fit in because you are your own person and you have your own set of ideas. And that's a wonderful thing. It is a wonderful thing. You're not cookie cut the way those that bully you expect you to be. You march to the beat of your own drums. Okay. So I also experienced emotional pain, and that happened when I had to be a caregiver to my mom when she was terminally ill. Okay. So financial pain, I guess I'll put that there. Because of financial pain, I have experienced homelessness. Okay. So let's move on to passion. So I have a lot of interest, but I think what I will list is numerology. I love numerology, and also genetic genealogy. And I hope I spelled that correct. Genetic genealogy. So if you're unfamiliar with genetic genealogy, so genealogy is based on your family's oral history when you're building a family tree and you are understanding who begot whom and who's related to whom. But with genetic genealogy, it's based strictly on DNA. So with a lot of these companies such as Ancestry and 23andMe, with the DNA kits, when you do the DNA kits to figure out your ethnic makeup, it also shows who you are related to DNA wise. So with genetic genealogy, you can actually piece together someone's family tree. And I have some interesting stories to tell about that, but that's not the appropriate time right now. But it's something that I really, really enjoy doing. I wish I could figure out perhaps how to turn it. I mean, I've considered how to turn it into a side hustle, but it's just not priority for me right now. So in terms of pedigree, definitely cooking and baking. My mom and my auntie were really excellent at cooking and baking, and so that's something that I enjoy. So also, my paternal grandparents, they love to go to the racetrack, and it was usually thoroughbred horse racing. And where I live, there's actually a track in the area. So I grew up going to the thoroughbred horse racing often. So that's something that if I really wanted to, I can monetize it by explaining how to play the horses, etc. So pet peeves, I mean, I do have pet peeves. Some are not as serious as others, but I think my biggest pet peeves relates to one thing, and that is my ethnicity. As a Black American, I'm very, very proud of being a Black American. And I just feel like a lot has changed. And sometimes people try to say what I feel are bigoted things like, you all don't have a culture. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we have a wonderful, rich culture. So I think one of my pet peeves is the no culture bigots. People who say we don't have a culture, and they could not know us, because if they knew us, they would know that our culture again is so rich. But related to that, part of what really irks me is the fact that I feel that there is social engineering going on as it relates to my culture. And what I mean by that is individuals have sold out in a sense. Rap and hip hop used to be positive, it used to have positive messages, and now you have individuals for a dollar or two, they're willing to say all kind of degrading things and do all types of degrading, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, degrading things. And it has really marred the Black American culture. And it's like, that's not who we are. And so social engineering is something that I don't care for, because it's done intentionally to do that. And then also related to that is what I call cultural appropriation. Now, because America is a melting pot, all races and ethnicities have what's unique about them, but because there's America's a melting pot, we all sort of borrow from other groups, and that's okay. But my thing is, if you're going to borrow, at least make it your own. Don't just take it and just appropriate it. And one of the biggest things that I think about when I think about um, Black American sororities and fraternities, I was shocked when one day I was online and I noticed that there are other groups that are basically stepping and doing all those things that are associated with Black sororities and fraternities. And I guess if that's what you want to consider doing, well, then make it unique to your group. But now it's pet peeves, and I said I had them, and we all have them. And a lot of times they're controversial. So let's move on to profession. And so I do have a CPA license. I also do have a life insurance license, but I haven't used that, and so I put it in inactive status. But I got it because when I experienced being a caregiver, and there were a lot of things that would have been ideal in terms of end of life planning that were not done. And I always said that I would love to be some type of facilitator to help people get their end of life planning done, their paperwork done. And I'm happy that finally my immediate family member, or my siblings and I finally took care of our end of life planning. But it just helps, because otherwise you leave people who love you in a predicament where they're having to make decisions for you, and they don't know for sure if that's what you want, and sometimes that leaves them with regret. But this is something that I would have to pursue later. So, purpose, I know for sure my purpose is to help others monetize, monetize their 6 P's. I know for sure that's what I'm meant to do. Oh, that's oh Lord. Monetize. That looks better. But if it's still spelled incorrectly, sorry. So I just finished this brainstorming exercise where I identified my 6 P's. And so next we're going to move on to mind mapping. Mind mapping is important because it helps you to create associations so that you can decide how you are going to monetize that particular item that you identified. So I don't plan to do all of these. I think the one I will select is numerology. And the reason is because I did start a side hustle based on numerology, but it really, really, really needs to be revamped. I need to go back and revamp everything from the branding and the offering. So, this is a good exercise for me, actually. So we're going to focus on numerology. So what I'm going to do is go over to the mind mapping exercise. Now, by the way, how we just did brainstorming is the method I use. Now, perhaps you are used to doing brainstorming differently, and that's okay. At the end of the day, whatever it takes for you to flesh out or do a brain dump in terms of monetizable experiences based on those 6 P's, then feel free to do the exercise however you feel is best. And the same is true for this mind mapping exercise. I've decided to use Google Sheets, so I don't have the lines going in the different directions. However, I will explain to you how it's set up before I move forward. So, this is how I do mind mapping when I am assisting myself or others with coming up with business ideas, okay? So, right here in the middle, we are going to fill in our idea. So, we're going to do numerology. Remember, that's the one that we're going to build out. Okay? So, numerology is in the middle. So, with mind mapping, I focus on physical products, digital products, services, and then consulting and coaching. Those are the 4 areas that I build out from. Okay. Now, there may be other areas that you may consider, but to me, this keeps it simple. All right. So, with services, we're thinking in terms of do it for me. Remember, or maybe I haven't talked about it much, but I will talk about the 3 ways of doing things. You can do it yourself. So you are the one that's doing whatever the actions that are necessary to get the results that you need. Or you can do it with me, and that is when you are using a service, someone's service, they're not doing everything. You're not doing everything, but you're doing it together. And then you have do it for me. And that's when you turn over what needs to be done to that particular professional so they can do it for you. Okay. So keep that in mind as you put yourself in the place of generating product or service ideas. So that basically means do it with me. That's how you're going to work with your client. You can do it with them instead of them doing it themselves or you doing it for them. Or you can do it for me. So you're providing the actual service for that individual. Okay. So keep that in mind as we build this out. So with this mind map, I have the 4 areas that I can choose in order to create products or services. Okay. So, with these 4 areas, I'm going to come up with 3 actual product or service ideas. Okay. You can do as many as you like. Okay. But just to demonstrate this exercise, I'm going to come up with 3 for physical, 3 for digital, 3 for services, and 3 for consulting and coaching. Okay. So, this is based on numerology. So, with numerology, I've been studying numerology for over 20 years. And so I actually did come up with some products. So, but with numerology, I put here that I could make oracle cards and as well as boards that have number patterns to help individuals be able to use numerology for the purpose they intended. For example, trying to determine um, answers to a situation or information about someone. Okay. And then with a physical product, I came up with a guidebook, a guidebook that explains how to use the cards and the boards, okay? And these are physical products that I can sell as having a side hustle based on numerology. I want to make that clear. Then also a physical product, I thought about selling charms and jewelry. Okay. And I don't know if you noticed that I'm actually wearing the number 8. I'm wearing the number 8 because 8 represents one of the core numbers. It's one of the core numbers in my numerology chart. So wearing this jewelry just reminds me to be in that state or in that energy in terms of the positive aspects. Okay. So those are the 3 types of physical products that I can create for my numerology side hustle. Now, in terms of the digital, let's jump to digital. So with my numerology side hustle, I could create a newsletter, like a paid newsletter, or even a free newsletter if you know what, I'm going to put that paid in parentheses, I mean in brackets. So I can create a newsletter that is free, and maybe it has relevant information about numerology. Maybe I could do like a card a day based on the oracle card deck that I created, or it could be a free newsletter, but it has affiliate links where I'm recommending products and services related to the subject matter. Okay. I can also create an online course because, again, with the product that I created, there are individuals that would want to learn how to use those products. So, an online course is an option. Okay. And also, I can always create a membership. Maybe individuals want to have a membership to a community that's based on numerology, and perhaps we could cover how to use your numbers to have better luck or better days or whatever. Okay. So let's jump over to services. So this is do it for me approach. So with numerology, one thing that I did start doing is creating a numerology chart. Now, there are other platforms out there where you can get numerology charts, but typically computer generated and cookie cut, whereas the numerology chart that I'm doing, that I'm literally working on right now with a client to build out, um, it's very much comprehensive, and it has over 50 calculations and all that good stuff. So I could do a numerology chart. Plus, I've learned how to use numerology to tell people more about their ancestry. So, ancestry chart is something that I can do based on numerology. And then also another service that I could do are my oracle card readings. Now, mind you, this is some of the things that I already do, but this is helping me because I need to revamp. Okay, so keep that in mind. So, moving over to consulting and coaching, do it with me. What I'm finding is that individuals may get their chart, numerology chart, where it talks about um, their their destiny, their life path, and all that other good stuff, but they don't necessarily know how to apply that information. So one of the things that I could do is like a one-on-one coaching to help them apply that information. Okay. To apply chart, I should say. All right. So not only that, but the way I've been doing numerology for over 20 years, and yes, I've studied others that are considered to be like modern day founders, but I've also conceptualized some of my own thought processes. So there may be individuals who are up and coming numerologists, or they've been out there for a while and they may be interested in my concepts. So I can always offer a service where I do one-on-one teaching concepts, teaching my concepts and even other people's concepts. Okay. And then in terms of coaching and consulting, um, what I thought about was, and it's technically a service, but I don't have any more room, so I'm going to put it here. But you know what? I know what it. Never mind. I would do like one-on-one um, teaching, one-on-one starting numerology business, because yes, there's the final financial roadmap. However, while their person is journeying through the financial roadmap, there are still tools, tips, and tactics that are unique to starting a business as a numerologist. Things that it would be good for them to know that I could possibly consult them on. So here's the mind mapping of my doing a side hustle based on numerology. And actually, I'm just going to update this as an intuitive numerologist, is how I describe myself. So these are all the different physical products, services, digital products, and consulting and coaching that I could do. Okay. So let me just look at, because I wrote down what could apply for the different areas. So let me give you some additional ideas just in case they did not come up while I was doing this for mind mapping for as an intuitive numerologist. So, physical products, think in terms of um, print on demand type situations. So when you do print on demand through Ingram Sparks and Amazon KDP, where you are submitting your book, and when someone orders the book, then the platform will print the book and mail that to your customer. So those are print on demand. Now, the Oracle cards that I created, there's also a company that does print on demand for like cards and games. So we're going to go through all of that. Just stay tuned. Let me just flesh out a little bit more of the financial roadmap, and we're going to get into actually launching different products and services so you can have some hands-on experience and then begin to really build out your multiple sources of income or multiple income streams. But under physical products, you can do like handmade goods that individuals sell on Etsy, as well as you can sell handmade goods on Amazon, as long as it's not food. It has to be non perishable. Also, we're going to talk about retail ready products. And so, retail ready means that you have the UPC code on the product so you can sell them in stores. And we're going to do some launch experiences related to that on what I call workshops. So, um, drop shipping, you may decide to do similar to like a print on demand, but you may decide to sign up for a company that has a product, and you just have your client order from their interface and they automatically send it out in your company's name. Also, reselling rights and affiliates. So there may be other products that you can sell and then get a commission for selling. So they don't necessarily have to be something that you created or manufactured. But so think about that when you're doing a mind mapping exercise and you're putting down your ideas. Now, in terms of services, the services are not as easy to really give you ideas. It really depends on what's in the middle here. But again, services would be anything where you're doing it for that customer of yours. So think about what type of services you can do for your customers. Now, consulting and coaching is the same thing. Think about what's in the middle here and how you what you can do in order to do that service that you offer with your client, and so that they're learning. So it's almost like show me how or teach me how to do something. Keep that in mind when you are filling out the different ideas on the consulting and coaching side. Now, digital products, oh my goodness, where do I start? There are so many ways you can figure out how to provide products and service. Well, products, digital products, Yvonne, products. We're talking about products. But there are so many different types of products that you can offer for digital products. For example, yes, you can do like subscriptions to a newsletter. It can be paid or free. If it's free, make sure you do like an affiliate links, online courses, memberships. You can do audio, for example, music and podcasts and audio books. You can do mobile apps. So you have an app created or a tool created for your customer to use. You can do templates. For example, I'm setting up this mind mapping, but if someone said, hey, I want you to let me use that so I can easily plug in my information, then that is a template that could be sold. And so you can do that through like Excel, Google, Notion. Printables are a little bit different, but they have a similar concept. So printables that you can easily create in on platforms like Canva, and there are others, but we're going to get to all of that. You can create like worksheets and planners that you sell to individuals to help their life, make their life better, depending on what it is that you're building out. You can do ebooks and guides, Kindle, like Amazon Kindle. You can do art and illustrations. You have platforms where you can sell, not so much sell, but upload to, and then get some type of royalty whenever others purchase. You can also do like audits of like social media or websites. So those are just some of the ideas that you can create as it relates to digital products. Okay. So we have been going a while, but I wanted to make sure that I started demonstrating to you how to generate ideas when you're trying to start and grow a side hustle. So just to recap quickly, I recommend that you first start with brainstorming based on the 6 P's. And I recommend you do this by yourself. Like for me to do this is somewhat vulnerable, especially as it relates to my pet peeves, but I stand 10 toes down on what I stated because those are my pet peeves. But ideally, you want to do this brainstorming exercise in a place that's nice and quiet and safe, and you're doing it by yourself so you can easily do a brain dump without fear of criticism or people trying to audit what you're doing. Just freely dump it. And then once you dump it, just pick one. And you can do this mind mapping exercise numerous of times. So if you decided that you want to work on a side hustle with multiple income streams 1 month, and then you want to do it again every 30 days so that you're building several. I mean, if you can handle that with time management, then that's okay. The good thing is, as we continue to journey through the financial roadmap, we're going to talk about the tools that help you with productivity and automation. So, when I look at my mind map, I think about how, as it relates to the digital products, once I set everything up, I don't have to touch it again and it's on automatic. The exception would be when I step in and interact with my members, but I would also have mods that are able to interact with members as well. And then when I look at physical products, the same thing, that physical products, once I set it up, I don't have to touch it again. The exception would be mailing out the charms and the jewelry. Okay. I haven't been able to find a platform that will drop ship specifically what I intend to sell. Okay. So, really, then I have time to really provide excellent customer service as well as coaching because I'm not bogged down with the product side. That's on automatic, and that's what I'll show you. But my point is, use this as many times as you need, and you can start one side hustle. And once you get it up and running, why not create additional? And then I'm going to always remind you that artificial intelligence like chat gpt, you can learn to use that to your benefit, to also learn to be efficient. And we're going to continue to demonstrate that, but I don't have anything to demonstrate with that right now. So that is it. I thank you so much for your patience. I'm sure this video has been going on for a while, but I felt that what I provided was necessary. I look forward to continuing to provide additional information about generating ideas, because technically this is not the end of it in terms of generating ideas, but we're just going to do these two exercises now. But definitely we're going to explore other exercises related to the topic, okay? But until then, feel free to visit my website at yvonnesullivan.com and take care. Bye bye.